versions of SAP BI BW, difference between OLTP and OLAP systems, and also how to differentiate master data and transaction data, as well as the high-level data flow in SAP BI BW.
Yeah.
Right? And in today's session, we are going to discuss how to load master data, attributes to BI system. As we discussed our data flow in yesterday's session, are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes. I see it very clear. Yeah.
From the source system, that is our flat file.
Welcome to GoToMeeting, online meetings made easy. There are 2 other callers on the call.
And we need to create an info package to load data to data source. And from data source, we need to load it to info provider. This info provider for master data is info object. And info object behaves differently in different situations. Now here, to load data from data source to info provider, we need to create transformations and DTC. Now let us create one of our source file which is in Excel format, CSV format in other words.
Yeah.
Open your Excel. Usually this information will be provided to us by the client MDM team. But here, as we do not have any MDM team to support us, we are going to generate our own Excel files. Let's say customer ID, name, address, phone number, and what else. Let's say this customer is continuously purchasing a fixed quantity, and quantity should have UOM, unit of measure, and let's say revenue generated by this customer is fixed, and currency. Revenue should have currency. Usually this quantity and revenue will not come under master data in our real time. But here, to understand different types of info objects in the very first level, I am considering quantity and revenue in the master data. Okay?
Yeah.
Some blank data I am generating. Quantity 10. Let's say kg, and revenue is 10. Currency is USD. 3002. Let's say this is in GBP. Down data I'm giving here. Not reloading. And save this file as, or
Yes.
else we can also take one more field, age of the customer. Right. Now save this file as CSV. I'll save it on my desktop. Name it as MD Now, basically, info objects are categorized into two categories. One is characters, and the second one is key figure. Alright?
Yep.
Which fields fall under characteristics? Which fields falls under characteristics? Any idea?
Characteristics. Well, I guess it's the, like for example, the address, right?
Yes, address, name, account ID, which deals with alphanumeric values. Whereas key figures is very simple to define. Key figures always deals with numbers. Always deals with numbers. Let's say quantity, price, revenue. Why these are termed as key figures? How do you analyze your business? Whether your business is running good or not. On what factors, on what fields do you make your decision? Usually sales, revenue, quantity sold, or price of the product sold. These fields make your analyzation on which you depend for your analysis. Whereas characteristics are supporting them. Like customer ID has generated certain amount of revenue for us. Here revenue falls under key figures and customer ID falls under characteristics.
Yep.
Clear?
Yep.
Okay. Now, so most of the time deals with alphanumeric and key figures most of the time deals with numeric values. Right. And here I have a question. When it comes to the date field, will it fall under characteristic or key figure?
The date, you mean the time, the period?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know, honestly.
Here, date can be considered as characteristic or key figure.
Both.
Usually, key figures are which allows you for mathematical calculation.
So dates are they can be included in both.
Yes, date fields are included in both. On
You
what basis you take it as characteristic and on what basis you take it as key figures will be analyzed as we go further.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I have my source file ready. I haven't saved it in CSV format, so let me save it in CSV format. Here, take it as CSV, comma, delimiter. and close this one. Here, for our convenience, delete the Excel file, which is in XLS format.
Yeah.
This is in CSV format. Okay. Now, and there are many ways to connect to SAP server. One is remote desktop connection, where you can go to run command and provide mstsc, click OK, and here system will ask you the computer IP to which you can connect your server, remote desktop connection. Okay, this is one way. And the other way is direct connection. You can install SAP Logon on your system. And this is also basis team job usually. All this information will be provided to you by the basis team. And here you can configure your server. Click on new, click on next, user specified system, click on next. Provide the description, application server IP, instance number and SID, and click on finish, so that you can connect one of the server like this. And sometimes it may happen that this server will work with only VPN. So VPN connection.
Yeah.
So VPN, I have one VPN installed on my system which I am going to use for my server connection. Connection through VPN. Now once VPN got connected, double click on server. Now give the user ID password. It will take you to the very first screen called SAP Easy Access screen. Now here, the top text box which appears here plays a major role for providing your transaction codes which will navigate you to different screens. The very first transaction code which we need to learn as a BI consultant is RSA1. If you understand the options in RSA1, 60%, 70% of the BI consultant job is done in RSA1 only. Alright?
Okay. Yeah.
This is the mother T code. We can say this is the major T code that is being utilized. Now I have my source system ready. In my entire data flow, I have my source system ready. Now my next step is to create data source. To load data into data source, I need to have a data source, right? Now, to create a data source, before you create a data source,
and the PSA, the table PSA is not the data source, right? It's different thing.
The data source is nothing but a PSA.
Oh, okay. Data source.
Okay. Now here, you have to create application component first. What is this application component? Application component is just like a folder which holds your list of data sources. Because we are not the only one consultant working on this server. Everyone creates their own project data sources. Right? So
yes.
An application component is designed to keep organized your data sources into a single folder. Basically, when talking about standard data sources, when we talk about standard data sources, How did SAP utilize this application component? For our understanding, SAP has designed a lot of data sources, out of which they have categorized into different categories like FI, HR, and SD, MM, what else? PI, what have you have all rest of the modules. Their data sources. Application component of FI will hold only data sources of FI. So it is easy to understand. And HR application component will hold only data sources which belongs to HR. Okay? This is about standard design. This is about standard design, standard data sources. But we are not going to create hundreds of data sources, right? So we require at least a minimum of one application component to create our data source. How do we create our data source? Once you log into the system and enter the T code RSA1, you will be under modeling tab. Observe my mouse pointer. Whatever I do using a mouse pointer only. Now here click on the source system. This source system is already provided to you by the basis team, which is a connection parameter. Now my data source is source system dependent. As we stated earlier, we have different source systems and different connection parameters depending upon the source system that you are using. Now I am using file system, so I need one source system which is available in this file system. Usually, as this is a trainee server, I have n number of source systems provided, but SAP in your real-time SAP projects, you will hardly have 3 to 4 systems, not more than that. Okay. Now double click on the source system provided to you by the basis team in which you are working. It will take you to the data source. Alright?
Yep.
Now, right click on the root node, data source for flat filer. Right click on the root node and select create application component. You will get an option called create application component. And here, give the technical name of the application component, ZAPP underscore Louis. Some description. Now, observe, I am starting with a letter called Z. This Z indicates that this is a custom component. Wherever you design your own info object or your own report or your own cube, all custom created ones starts with Z, which is a universal rule followed for the next coming developer to understand that this is a custom one. Clear? Any questions?
No, not so far. Yeah, it's clear.
Click on continue. We continue. Now here, when you scroll down, your application component is created.
Okay.
Now, you can right click on the application component. Here you have two options. If you want to create a sub-application component, you can create a sub-application component which is like a folder in a folder, right? Or you can directly create your data source. So I want to create a data source now. Now here, give the technical name for data source, ZDS underscore.
And this is actually the PSA.
Yes. Okay. ZDS underscore MD80 is my data source technical name. But what type of data we are loading? Master data is further classified in SAP as attributes, and the next one is text. Text is nothing but if you want to give some description for a particular product or for a particular field, then you can use text. And the data which we are dealing currently falls under attributes. How come this falls under attributes? Now, A001 has a field called name Madan and address, phone number, age, quantity, UOL, revenue and currency. Other than customer ID, rest of the fields are attributes to customer ID. Rest of the fields are attributes to customer ID. Because this belongs to, based on customer ID, I can pull any information.
Yes.
So these all are the attributes for customer ID. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the data that we are loading is master data attributes. We will talk about text in detail as we go further. And then click on continue. Now here, system will ask you short description, DS for MD, attribute, master data attribute, medium description and long description. Go to extraction tab. When you go to extraction tab, here you need to specify the path of the file from where you are loading. Desktop, it's MDA attribute, right?
Yeah.
Now here, the header rows to be ignored are 1. Why header rows to be ignored? 1. First header row of the file need to be ignored. Why?
Because of the format of the file, no? Yeah. Okay.
Here, if you observe, the first row is just a description of the column. It's not the actual data. Right? Customer ID, name, address, phone number. These are the descriptions of the columns.
Is the header.
So, if you have 2 header rows, then you need to ignore 2 header rows.
Okay.
In here, from where you are loading the file, you have given a path, well and good. But system should identify whether you are loading it from the server location or from your desktop. If it is from your desktop, the option by default will be load text type file from local workstation, which is our desktop. But if the file is on server, then you need to choose the next option available from application server. File from application server. Okay?
Yeah.
Now here, the type of the file, data format is not fixed length because it is CSV file. So here we have a separator. So select separated with separator. And the separator here is comma. The separator here is comma. Then go to proposal tab. Now, before you hit load example data, make sure your file is closed. If your file is open, system will not be able to load the data. And why I am loading an example data here? If you observe, I did not create any fields yet to my data source, or my PSA, in other words, right? Now I have to create some fields for my PSA, which will allow me to store this data, right?
Yes.
So when I hit example data, load example data, this is just a security issue. As the server is accessing the file on my system, it is asking me, do you want to load? Now, if you observe underneath, customer ID has been generated as a field, name, address, phone number, age, quantity, all the fields are generated. And here, data type also being generated. On what basis system is generating data type?
Yeah.
Any idea?
It has been created automatically, right?
Yes. Based on the data that we have, system is creating data type. If it is alphanumeric, it is creating char. If it is numeric, it is creating as int type. And also, based on the length of the integer, it is taking int 1, 2, and 4.
Okay.
And also, it is also specifying the highest length that you have given in your sample data. Okay? Then click on fields. Do you want to copy these fields as it is to your PSA table? Say yes. Now the fields are generated for me. Then go to preview. Click on read preview data. This read preview data will give you the sample output, how the data looks after loading it to PSA. And if your data source is in inactive status, then you need to activate your data source. So how is your Sunday morning? How was your weekend?
It has been good. Like, yesterday I was with, well, I went to the family with some friends, but it was good because, well, I'm from Spain, you know.
Oh, you're from Spain. Good.
Yeah, and I was transferred to US like in September, and well, my wife, my parents-in-law are here, and well, it has been good. We took them around in Chicago area, like, you know, the Hancock Tower in Chicago. You know that building? Have you been in Chicago?
No, dear. I'm not much familiar about Chicago.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, if you can Google it, and there's a couple of buildings that are nice. But I mean, it's as every big city. Honestly, I don't like very much big cities.
I asked Mohan not to schedule a session today, but he said he is already committed.
Oh, I mean, you can, if something happens for you, just you can give me a call, and like, for me it would be fine. Just or send me an email.
I will look into the student perspective as well. See, most of the American Spain guys who work all 5 days very tough, and they want to enjoy their weekend.
Yeah, so let's then, for me, whatever is good for you, or like I will try to keep it like, to adjust myself to that schedule, right?
Yeah, no problem. Fine. And now here, this is showing me a sample data after I complete my load process. See, till now I just saw preview. This is just a preview image. How does your data looks after you load it to the system. But no data has been yet loaded to the system. To load data to the system, you need to create an info package. Remember the flow?
Yeah.
You need to create an info package. Now, to create an info package, right click on data source, select create info package.
So
And here,
the data is not yet in the PSA. We'll have to create the info package.
yes, data is not yet in the PSA. That was just a preview. This was just a preview. Right. Now, right click on the data source to create your info package. You have an option called create info package.
Yeah.
Now here, give the description for the info package. Description of the info package. And then save it. The technical name of the info package is auto-generated by the system. We do not have any control on the technical name of the info package. Here, if you observe, this is the technical name of the info package. Clear?
Yeah, I'm writing some notes. Yeah.
And let me see. Yeah, Louis, the session is being recorded, and you can contact Mohan to get the recording of the session.
Ah, perfect. That's really good. Okay.
Yeah. And here, go to Extraction tab. You will find the information that you have given at the time of creating your data sets. This is the file from where I am loading, and header rows to be ignored, and separated with separator and the separator is comma. This is what the information that I have given while creating my data set, right?
Yeah.
The same information is carried out here. And when you go to processing tab, you will have only PSA, and update tab, you will have only full update. We have the second type of update called delta update. We will talk about delta update and full update difference later. As of now, when you deal with master data, especially from flat file, it is always full update. Then go to schedule tab. This schedule tab contains two options. One is start data load immediately, and the second one is start later in background. Let's say you have new data coming every day, so you need to execute your info package every day, which cannot be handled manually, right?
Yeah.
Every day, if you want to manually trigger, that's a hectic process, right? If you want to schedule it, go to the second option, start later in background, and here you have an option of date and time. At what date you want to make this info package start, and from that particular date you can give periodic jobs. Select periodic jobs, click on periodic values, and how frequently you want to execute this. Is it hourly, daily, weekly, monthly? So that at your given date and time, from the date and time, every day, if you select it as daily, from the given date and time, every day the job executes. Let's say here I am giving as date and time as 2, 6, 0, 1, 3, and the time is 12. Now, every day, and then select it as, date format is wrong. Now select periodic values. So from tomorrow, every day at 12 a.m. midnight, my job automatically stops. My info package triggers automatically to load new coming data into the PSA. Okay?
I see.
As of now, as we want to load data immediately, I'll not go for this with the second option. I'll go for the first option. Start data load immediately and click on start. Now if you observe at the bottom, data was requested. Now I want to see whether the load has been successful or not. For that, right click on data source for MD data and go to manage tab. Here you will observe a monitor request status. A column called monitor request status. If this is in green, that means your data loads are successful.
Okay.
If this is in yellow, it is under execution. The load process is under execution. If it is in red, then it states that your data load has been failed.
Okay.
Now click on PSA maintenance. If you want to see the records that are loaded using this request, select this request, click on PSA maintenance. And here it states that 5 records has been loaded to your PSA.
Okay.
And I want to see those records, so click on continue. See, these are the records that have been loaded to my data source.
Okay.
Here.
So we can load data to the PSA without without an info object. It's like we can load everything we want to the PSA, no? It's a temporary storage.
Yes. Termed as persistent staging area. Okay. So in today's session, I have created my application component, my source file, data source for master data attributes, and then created PSA to load data to my data source.
Yep.
Right? So have you got server access?
Not yet. Well, they have already sent me the. They will provide me soon, and I would practice this exercise.
Yeah. Practice this exercise, create some sample file, and make sure in your sample file everything is in caps.
Okay.
I'll tell you how to deal with lowercase letters. See here, observe in my file everything is in caps.
Okay, that's important, right? Everything should be in caps.
Yeah. We will also deal with, it is not guaranteed that always your source systems gives you caps letters. You may also get lowercase letters. So we will deal with how to deal with lowercase letters. We will talk it in next session. Okay?
Yeah.
Clear? Any questions in today's session?
Yeah. For tomorrow's session, what time is good for you?
Let me figure out. Are you available at 9:30 a.m.?
9:30 in the morning. I'm working.
Okay. So how about evening around?
I mean, in the morning. Yeah.
What time you are available in the evening?
In the evening, if we can, like, it depends on the day because well, right now we are in a project. If we can make it like around, I guess for me it's better late, but maybe for you it's better as soon as possible, right? During the evening.
10 p.m. is good for you, or it is too late for you?
Which one?
10 p.m. evening.
No, for me it's good. If you want to do it 10 p.m., for me it's perfect.
Yeah, we can do it at 10 p.m. then.
Because that way I will never fail, you know, because you know how now I'm working in an EPM project, and for sure that one day or other something will come. So if you can make it at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. for me it's really good.
You are in CST time zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 p.m. good.
Okay, I will write it then. Tomorrow at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And I will be using the same link.
Yeah, same link.
To go to meeting link, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then catch you tomorrow, 10 p.m.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.